verse 14, உள்ளது 40 அனுபந்தம், supplement to 40 verses on reality given to us by Sri Ramana Maharshi. வினையும் விபக்தி வியோகம் அஞ்ஞானம் இணையவை யார்க்கென்று ஆய்ந்திடவே வினை பக்தி யோகம் உணர்வு ஆய்ந்திட நானன்றி அவை என்றும் இல் தானாக மன்னலே உண்மையாம். He says, if you analyze karma, we say prarabdha karma, we talk about sanchita karma, we talk about agami karma, the three karmas. He says, if you analyze what this karma is, Vinay, you analyze what is non-devotion, opposite of devotion, saying atheism, saying there is no such thing as God. You analyze it, that concept of God or non-God. You analyze it. Karma, non-devotion, viyogam, opposite of union, opposite of yoga. Yoga means union. Union of what? Union of this individual jivatma, individual being with the whole existence, with universal consciousness. So that is separateness. Viyogam is separateness. So you analyze karma, you analyze non-devotion, you analyze non-union, ajnanam, ignorance. You analyze ignorance. You analyze all this and you ask, to whom is this? To whom is this four things? Karma, non-devotion, non-union, then ignorance. Ignorance fundamentally in the context of Advaita Vedanta, it means I am the body sense. Body identification is called the root ignorance, avidya, moola avidya it is called, the root ignorance. If you analyze as to whom is all this, if you analyze, he says again, vinay, bhakti, yogam, unarvu, aindida. Again he puts it in positive terms, karma, and then he says bhakti, sorry, he says bhakti, then yogam, then unarvu. Unarvu in Tamil it means, the feeling, not the psychological feeling. When the ego subsides, sorry, when the ego subsides, what results is spurana, he calls. Spurana is a kind of palpable sensation that arises of its own accord when the ego subsides. So again he says, if you analyze all these four, nanandri avai endrum il, these opposites of what? Karma or absence of karma, devotion or absence of devotion, union or absence of union, and then knowledge or ignorance. These opposites, if we analyze as to whom is all this, he says, they do not exist. We'll realize they do not exist without the self that I am. So he says, Tanaga mannale unmayam. So the truth is, set aside all these things, being established in one's own self is the truth, he says. The same point is going to repeat again and again. Find out who you are, be established in who you are, in yourself, Atman. That's all. That is the solution provided by Advaita Vedanta to the disease of birth, rebirth cycle. That's all. So if we analyze all these four, karma or absence of karma, devotion or absence of devotion, and then yoga or separation, or ignorance or knowledge, if you analyze all these as to whom, we'll get an answer to me. And if you find out that root, that self, which is the source of all the material manifestation, then you'll realize that these opposites do not exist without that truth, without that self. And hence he says, being established in the self is the truth. That's all. So, when we start out, we don't get the complete theory of Advaita Vedanta. It takes some time. We have to hear this again and again. We have to think about it again and again. The final conclusion is what? As Sri Bhagavan put it, எப்போதும் உள்ளது அவ்வேகான்ம வஸ்துவே. Only one thing exists. What is that? That is Brahman. What about this body, this world, the universe? No, they do not exist. We might argue from this standpoint that, oh, all this exists. I have a body, I eat food, I have to go to the toilet, I need to, I have procreated, I have driven around, I have flown around the world, I have seen rockets going up to the moon. So long as ego is there. As it was said in verse 26, I think, in உள்ளது 40, அகந்தை உண்டாயின் அனைத்தும் உண்டாகும். If ego is there, everything is there in your experience as solid physical reality. If ego is not there, nothing is there. So ego is everything, and hence if you want to give up the entire physical universe, you don't have to. All that you have to do is to go to the source, seek the source of the I thought, the birthplace of the I thought and other thoughts. There it will topple down. There you will get the experience of oneness. You will see that you are, as Atman, you are the only one person existing all the time, without coming and going, without waxing and waning, without being exhausted. You are ever fresh. In fact, in the previous verse, I think I left out one word. He gave a long list. He said, if you give up your bodily sense of I, you will get all those good things. In that, I think arivu, knowledge was left out. Knowledge, here it means, does not mean objective knowledge. Knowledge of objects, science, technology, arts, no. Knowledge here means self. Knowledge of one's own self. Is self an object to be known? No. He says, knowing the self is being the self. Knowing the self is being the self. So the point is, do vichara. When? All the time if possible. If you are stuck with your work on a daily basis, even when you are amidst work, he says, go hold the self. You can remind yourself constantly that I am Brahman. I am formless. I am formless, infinite existence consciousness, bliss. And I pervade the entire universe, percolate the entire universe. I make it happen the way it happens, yet I remain untouched. That is what I am. So you are shifting your sense of I from this bodily sense of I to Brahman I. Because that is the only one thing that exists. See, this is a very, what to say, it is a cheating mechanism, so to say. One only exists, okay? It appears as this multiplicity, multiple universe with so many human beings, animals, plants, stars, etc. One only exists. It has been said again and again in Bhagavan's writings. Oru porulam anma olirkum madimun karvigale. It is that one thing which reveals the functioning of the body, mind, etc. Only Atma as light, within quote, not physical light, as the revealer, it can reveal everything in the universe through this upadhi, body, through the senses, through the mind. But in turn, these things, the body, the world, the objects that are there in the universe, they can never reveal Atma back. It is impossible. How? Why? The design is like this. It is Atma which through this body, having reduced itself to the size and capability of this body, experiences the world, experiences itself as the body. Through Vicharam, we can kill this mechanism. We can do away with this mechanism of body identification slowly by repeatedly thinking about our true nature. That's all. Sri Bhagavan says, this is the very purpose of your having taken this human birth. Generally it is said, we take 84,000 births, 84 lakh births as different forms. Then finally you come to the top of the pyramid, which is a human being. And even after becoming a human being, we take several births in ignorance. So long as we do not analyze our true nature, and so long as we do not abide in our true nature, Shankara says in Atma Bodham, so long as we do not analyze this Brahman, so long as we do not abide in that Brahman, abide as Brahman, everything in the physical universe will look real. When? So long as we do not analyze. If we analyze and we find out, they will become false, he says. They do not exist anymore, he says. But Sri Bhagavan says, Prabhanjam illo nan pin, I am one who does not have the universe at all. It will be shocking and surprising, but this is what is said, presented as the truth, Advaitic truth. One only exists. And for your satisfaction, if you want to know about this universe, one only exists. It appears as God, world, and the individual being. Can we realize it? Oh, yes. Have people done it? Yes. N number of people, N number of Upanishads are there. A lot of Upanishads. All the Rishis have said the same thing. And that chain has not been broken continuously. Shankara came, then Vidyaranya Swami came, and then there were Swami Vivekananda, and then Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Mother, and then we have had recently a solid living demonstration of this Advaitic truth, which is Ramana Bhagavan. We can see him in photo and we can see him on videos too. So this is something real, solid, true. What? Advaitic truth. What? Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. What about the individual who is functioning now? The I thought, he will function for some time. If you continuously push him towards assuming he is the river, the individuality is the river, you have to push him continuously towards the ocean of the self. There he will go and merge. Once he merges, he cannot return. That is why Sri Bhagavan says, for you now it is very difficult not to think thoughts. He says, for a jnani, it is very difficult to think thoughts. Because Yannam Ilanam Tan, he defines a jnani as one who does not have thoughts at all. Nanudiyadulla nilai, a state in which the I thought does not arise at all. If we give up our attachment, our desires to material objects in the world, automatically, he says, the fire which is not fed by ghee will automatically be doused. The same way, the fire will lose its energy to burn. The desire, the I thought, will lose its energy to rise up. If we give up our desires, then we will be in peace. Stillness of mind is defined as realizing one's God nature. Be still and know that I am God. So if you analyze the opposites of karma or non-karma, devotion or non-devotion, and then yoga or opposite of it, viyogam, or ignorance or knowledge of the self, if you analyze all this, we will realize that without that one thing, these two things cannot appear. Without that one thing, these opposites cannot appear. That is the birthplace of all these opposites. And hence, being established in ourselves, being established in the self is the truth, he says. Let us think about it.